Bold foliage, bold plants. What are we talking about when we say, let's put something bold in the garden? Hello, I'm Rosy Hardy. This is Rosy Hardy Gardening. If you enjoy our videos, please do subscribe to the channel. I'm going to talk about foliage plants which have big leaves or give a really good, intense feeling to an area and are often known as plants which are bold. Therefore, they have got presence. They are going to show up just because they don't flower. Most of them will have a flower, but it's of no significance. They're mainly grown for their foliage to give you a really good effect. And one of the most common ones with huge, big, bold leaves are the hostas. Now this beautiful hosta, it's not out in full leaf yet, the leaves are not fully expanded completely. This one is Francis Williams, and this one is an old variety, and I do like some of the older varieties rather than some of the new. I'm not saying I don't dislike all of them. And this one, you know, I've said before I don't like variegation, but I have to say there are some plants where it just enhances the plant completely, and that is the case with this, because you can imagine this in a slightly shady spot in a container, say in a shady area, or just in a shady border with other trees and shrubs around it. It is going to show off, and that's the thing with these plants which have got bold foliage. They're show-offs, and they really want to let you know that they exist and they are there. This one is probably about 6 to 8 years old in its container. It is repotted annually. It is taken out, bits are split off the side, it's given a root prune, put back into this probably 7.5 to 10 litre container, and then it's kept growing, kept moist. It gets a little bit of food, and then the foliage comes out. These leaves are fantastic. This lovely dark green in the centre with this beautiful cream around the outside, and you can see the veins as well. So once the leaves are fully expanded, this is a really cracking hosta, and it's worth growing. So that is Hosta Francis Williams. Then, staying with the really large bold leaves, we've got the Rodgersia, and this is Rodgersia podophylla. Now this one is a really beautiful big leaf. Now this does flower, same as the hosta does, but its leaves come up like this, like umbrellas which have been blown the other way. That's how I like to describe them, because if you think about an umbrella in a windy storm and it just goes up, that is basically the shape that you are getting from these fabulous leaves. So as they start, they're very much more that shape. They have this wonderful sort of golden to bronze colour on the top of the foliage. Foliage below is slightly greener. As they get bigger and expand, because again these are just starting to come out, they've probably been emerged out of the pots for about 3-4 weeks, and once they get to being full size, the foliage is much larger, so twice this size, and you can imagine it becomes this almost plate-like, because it will flatten out slightly, so a bit like a bowl, say, with these beautiful leaves, and you always get 5 leaves on this particular form. It does have a creamy white flower, but that's insignificant. You are growing it for this foliage. It makes wonderful big clumps. Once established, the Rodgersias can do in dry shade, but you've got to get them established first and allow them to make quite large clumps. These look so much better when they are bigger clumps, and then you get this standing beautiful foliage. You can grow things underneath as well. That's absolutely fine, you know, like summer bulbs or, you know, early spring bulbs will be great mixed with this, because as they're dying down, so this foliage comes up and hides all of those spring bulbs. So think about that as a combination. Now again, this is in a container, but in the ground it would be a bigger plant, and it would be standing up much taller than this. But it is all about the leaves on this plant. It's all about this colour, this structure, being bold and just filling up a space and going, I'm here. And that's what it's about with bold foliage plants. Rodgersia, podophylla. Then in this group of bold foliage, I've got some ferns, because of course ferns are foliage plants, and they range from being beautiful greens like this one here, which is Dryopteris cristata, the king, to this one, the Splenum Scholarium, or the hart's tongue fern, to the small little Blechnum penna-marina here. And they are all bold in their own way. So let's start with the Dryopteris. And Dryopteris is a big group. Now these have got the most amazing fronds which go all the way out like this, and every single bit of them has got this funny little extra piece on there. So it's a little bit like a fasciation. It's almost as though the ends of the fronds are deciding to be more fronds at the end. So once this plant is fully out and extended with all of its beautiful fronds, like here, beautiful mid-green, it then has that sort of crinkly look to it because of all these additions to the ends of the fronds, like so. And every single one of these fronds will get these on there. Now this is going to make quite a large fern, so this is going to make a really good plant. Again, it can be containerized. It can be, so if you've got a shade garden with containers, it's absolutely fine in there. But again, it's a different shape, it's a different style of foliage. You could have a completely foliage container using these bold and different types. So these fronds are going to get twice the length that they are, twice as broad, with that frilly edge to them, really looking good. So it's bold in a different way. It's got character, it's got style, but you will know it's there because it's holding its own in the space that it has been given. So that is Dryopteris cristata, the king. Then we have the Spleenum Scholarium, and this one here is just sending up its new fronds. So you've got the little crocus here, and then you've got the little croziers here, and the croziers on these are little tiny, they're just rolled up, and then they expand and they get bigger and bigger. Hart's tongue fern, because they're big and long and look like a tongue, I suppose that's what it was thought about. Now the old foliage is still on this plant, and in the wild, because this is a really good plant that grows wild in the UK, you see it on banks everywhere, it's a really good naturalising, but it's got good strong structure because it tends to go upright with its fronds to start off with, and then it folds over solid. So unlike a lot of ferns, most people think of ferns as having very dissected leaf. This is a good solid leaf, so it's a completely different type of boldness in this. So in nature these would not be cut off. You could cut them off yourself, but we tend to leave them because it protects the new growth as it comes through, especially as we're still getting late frosts in the spring here, and so we leave this foliage here. So apart from anything else, this foliage protects the crown. Then as this foliage dies off, you don't see it, and it dies off and it creates a mulch, so therefore it's helping, one, to put back a little bit of the food that it has used, that's going back into the crown of the plant. Two, it's creating a mulch over the surface, therefore it's keeping the plant moister underneath that area. So quite often tidying up is not the best thing to do. Even in a container it's quite a good thing to leave these leaves there, because again it's still feeding the plant. So these are going to go up, be twice the height they are here, beautiful, going to become dark green, flat, solid leaves, and really good for a shady spot. So that is the Splenum Scholarium. So different type of boldness with that one. And then I've got something that is small. So you don't have to be large to be bold. And this is just the most fantastic ground carpeting, really superb, little demure, but the most fantastic early foliage on the Blechnum penna-marina subspecies. No, that's what it is. It's Blechnum penna-marina subspecies marina. I always get my tongue twisted around that. This has got little croziers coming up here, and at the moment you have got your first lot of foliage on this, which is this beautiful bronze that's here, and then you get some other ones which come up, and they are the ones which are going to be the ones which are female fronds, because they've got all of the spores on the back of them, and they come up and they come up and you get these really dark brown purple upright fronds in the middle. So you get this amazing foliage at the base, which makes a wonderful carpeting mass, and then you get these beautiful upright fronds which go up a little bit taller above it. So you get these two contrasting forms. Absolutely beautiful. It shows up and it's a fantastic one. So this is bold in a different way, in the fact that it is going to take up an area, it's going to sit there, it's going to do what it wants. But isn't that a cracking colour to look at? Absolutely fantastic. So Blechnum, penna-marina, subspecies marina. What a mouthful. Beautiful. Other plants which are bold, and we have spoken about before, but they are good and they are bold at this time of the year. Look at the foliage on the Epimedium. This is Epimedium Cross Rubrum. It has great, wonderful splashes of the newer foliage with this lovely red on there. Then the other foliage just making a wonderful carpet. So these are bold because they are there, they're standing there, it's a good cover, it's there for a long time, and it's doing the job that you want it to do. So it's bold from the point of view that it's going to spread and be good. It's got this fabulous coloration as it comes out in the spring. That lasts for quite a long time and then it goes green. So this is another one which is fantastic for ground cover, shady areas, but really doing its stuff. And you know, these foliage plants all put together look fantastic, and I can create a little show of them in a minute when I've finished talking about them. But Epimedium Cross Rubrum, that is a fabulous one there. To a change of colour, there are purple leafed bold foliage plants out there, and this is a wonderful old variety of Heuchera. This is Heuchera Harry Hay. This has got hairy stems, big leaves. These are going to expand to being much larger than this. It's a very big one. It's probably got villosa in its breeding, and then it's sort of purple. So this is a predecessor to Pallas Purple. A lot of people remember Heuchera Pallas Purple. It was all the rage at one time. You hardly see it these days because there are so many other Heucheras around there. But this older one, this is a really beautiful form. It's got big leaves, hairy leaves. It does flower, but it's mainly grown for the fact that there is statuesque with all of this foliage, and it's a really cracking form. Hukura Harry Hay. Another purple foliage plant, which at this time of the year, that is what it is doing, but this is a bold plant even when it comes up into flower. These are the Actaea Simplex. So the Actaea Simplex have these fabulous purple foliage, which just creates a beautiful mound. They show off all sorts of other plants right the way through the spring and summer when their foliage is standing there, looking great, giving you all that contrast. They'll get a little bit taller with the foliage, and then later in the year they flower and have a beautiful perfume. But I put this in the structure of bold foliage because beautiful filigree, it's doing its thing, it's going to create a wonderful surround. It's excellent, it stands there. You, as I say, you can utilise it for showing off other colours because other lighter colours stand out really well in front of it. But basically it is cracking plant. It's a lovely plant, so I think this comes under bold for the plant itself, but bold in its foliage because although they're not solid leaves, they're a beautiful purple, lovely stems, and just really great plant. So this is Actaea Simplex. Now I just moved this forward to show you the contrast of this other variegated plant against that one there. This one is the variegated Solomon seal, Polygonatum Cross Striatum, and there are quite a few different variegated ones out there. The Striatum one really is quite stripy on the leaf like this. It's a lower growing Solomon seal than the others, still has these creamy white bells on there, but it's the foliage, yeah, so it's a good mat former, it's good for shady spots, and again it shows up, it looks really good in those darker areas, showing up. It's not going to be above ground as long as the hosta, but it's up and doing its stuff, so it is really quite good. So from the point of view of bold and brash, this one is that. So Polygonatum Cross Striatum. Then I'm going to finish with one which has beautiful big foliage. It's flowered, it's done its stuff. So its flowers very, very sparse and short-lived, but the foliage stays, and that is it. Big, bold leaves. This is Beginia ciliata. So these beautiful hairy leaves, both hairy on the top and the underside, are going to come up and then go out flat, and they're going to make a big patch. So these leaves have got to double in size. So they're already quite large. They're the size of a saucer, but they've got to get to the size of a small dinner plate. So they're going to be about, so they're going to come out to here, up to here. Beautiful foliage. So that is very definitely on the grounds of, you can see instantly, bold leaf on this, really, really good. Now this likes dry shade. It is deciduous, and it gives you a beautiful last hurrah in the autumn because the foliage goes the most amazing orange colours as well. So flower in the spring, beautiful foliage being great in dry shade, and then it gives you wonderful autumn colour. So a really good bold foliage plant, Beginia ciliata. Let's just put all of these plants together, and you can see where they would grow probably, and you can see how they would all show up and look really good together from the point of view of having that little bit of different texture and colour all around. So there we have a collection of all of the ones that I've spoken about, placing them in positions where you could grow them, or if you had them in containers, they could be grown in these sorts of combinations. But you can see how you can just use bold foliage with different shapes and types to give you that wonderful effect. If you're interested in the design and how to put different types of borders together, then please do look out. We are going to be doing a course which you can subscribe to on border form and how to edit it, how to put them all together. With all of these plants, you know, you can shift and move. They're in pots and put some extra pops of colour in there. But at the moment, there's so much difference in the way of the different shapes of the plants. Bold leaves, bold in their colour, bold in the way that they are growing. Fantastic plants. Thank you very much for watching, and please do subscribe to the channel. If you want to watch another video of mine, YouTube thinks this one is perfect for you.